मोबाइल ऑफ करके बोलो कितनी चाहिए 42
जाजी भी आ गई
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, Kavita Bhavsar, Company Secretary of Balmer Lawrie and Company Limited, welcome you all at the 107th Annual General Meeting of the company, which is being held through video conferencing without the physical attendance of the members at a common venue in compliance with circulars issued by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. For smooth conduct of the AGM, the members may note that this facility to attend the AGM through video conference has been provided by KFIN Technologies Limited. Members may access the same by following the instructions mentioned in the notice of the AGM. All the mics of the members shall be kept on mute by default. The same would be appropriately unmuted for the shareholders who have registered themselves as speakers. The speaker shareholders are requested to speak only when their respective name is called by the chairman and to wait for their turn as per the serial number given to them. The speaker shareholders are also requested to follow the process and guidelines stated in the email sent to them. Over to the respected chairman and managing director, Sri Aditya Pal Chaudhary, and Director Service Business Additional Charge of Balmer Lawrie and Company Limited to commence the meeting as the quorum is present.
On behalf of the Board of Directors and myself, I would like to extend to all of you a very warm welcome at the 107th AGM of the company being held through video conference. The company secretary informs me that the requisite quorum is present. Hence, I now formally declare this 107th AGM open. Kindly note that the statutory registers, as per the applicable provisions of the Companies Act 2013 and any other document referred to in the notice of the AGM, along with the explanatory statement, are available electronically for inspection by the members, and the same shall remain open and accessible during the continuance of this meeting. Before I take up the agenda of the meeting, I would like to introduce my colleagues attending the AGM with me from the registered office of the company at Kolkata. On my immediate right is seated Sri Saurav Datta, Director Finance and Chief Financial Officer. Beside him is seated Dr. Vandana Minda Heda, Independent Director, who also acts as the Chairperson of the Stakeholders Relationship Committee and the Risk Management Committee. On my immediate left is seated Ms. Kavita Bhavsar, Company Secretary, and next to her is seated Sri R.M. Uthayaraja, Director, Manufacturing Businesses. Next to him is seated Sri Abhijit Ghosh, Director, Human Resource and Corporate Affairs. Now I wish to introduce my colleagues who have joined us remotely through VC. Sri Mrityunjay Jha, Government Nominee Director, has joined us from Delhi. Sri Rajiv Kumar, Independent Director, who also acts as the Chairperson of the Audit Committee and Nomination and Remuneration Committee. We also have with us the auditors of the company who have joined us through VC. The notice convening the 107th AGM, the annual accounts and the board's report, along with the annexures for the financial year ended on 31st March 2024, had been sent to the members earlier, and hence the same may be considered as read. Distinguished members may be aware that it is no longer mandatory to read the report of the statutory auditors at the meeting. However, in terms of Section 145 of the Companies Act 2013, read with the applicable provisions of the Secretarial Standard on General Meetings SS2, the qualifications, observations, or comments or other remarks, if any, mentioned in the auditor's report or comments on financial transaction or matters which have any adverse effect on the functioning of the company are required to be read at the AGM. The statutory auditors, Messrs. BB Chowcharia and Company, have not made any such qualifications, observations, or comments in their reports dated 10th July 2024. Further, pursuant to Section 143(6), subsection A of the Companies Act 2013, the Office of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India had conducted a supplementary audit of the financial statements, both standalone and consolidated, of the company for the financial year ended 31st March 2024. And CAG has stated that on the basis of their supplementary audit, nothing significant has come to its knowledge which would give rise to any comment upon or supplement to statutory auditor's report under Section 143(6)(b) of the Companies Act 2013. Lastly, as per the applicable provisions of SS2, the qualifications, observations, or comments or other remarks, if any, mentioned in the secretarial audit report which have any material adverse effect on the functioning of the company shall be read at the annual general meeting. Hence, I request the company secretary to read the observations and respective management response which appears on page 38 of the annual report with respect to the report dated 6th July 2024 of Messrs. M.R. and Associates, company secretaries, being the secretarial auditor of the company for the financial year ended on 31st March 2024.
Reading from page 38 of the annual report, the qualifications, adverse mark, reservation, disclaimer made by the secretarial auditor and the corresponding management response clarification are as enumerated below. Number 1, the composition of the board of directors was not in conformity with Regulation 17 1B of Listing Regulation, Section 149(4) of the Companies Act 2013, read with allied rules in para 3.1.4 of the DP guidelines due to absence of adequate number of independent directors on the board of the company during the period under review. Number 2, the composition of the board of directors was not in conformity with Regulation 17(1)(a) of the Listing Regulations and para 3.1.2 of DP guidelines, since the number of functional directors, executive directors on the board of the company had exceeded 50% of the actual strength of the board of directors of the company due to insufficient number of independent directors during the period from 1st April 2023 till 31st March 2024, and vacancy in the office of government nominee director during the period from 16th May 2023 till 31st March 2024. Clarification from the management side. The company being a government company, the composition of the board of directors is dependent on the directions of the administrative ministry, and thus the non-compliance was for reasons beyond the control of the company.
I would now like to make a few customary observations. Dear valued shareholders, it's our privilege to connect with you at the 107th Annual General Meeting of Balmer Lawrie and Company Limited. It is a pleasure to avail the opportunity of interacting with shareholders of Balmer Lawrie and share the progress and plans of your company with you, while at the same time discussing the opportunities and challenges that could confront us in the coming times. India in its Amrit Kal and surging ahead to be a global powerhouse, and the Indian economy is set to surpass Japan and Germany to become the world's third largest economy by 2029. India's G20 presidency has marked a significant milestone and has underscored the leadership role it is assuming in the face of significant social and economic uncertainty and the volatile geopolitical landscape faced by the world. One of the key drivers of India's future growth momentum is the huge investments being made to develop the physical infrastructure across the country. Initiatives like Digital India, Make in India, PM Gati Shakti, the National Logistics Policy, etc., are representatives of the policy framework of the government that is giving a fillip to India's economic growth. The recent policy interventions, such as ease of doing business reforms, production linked incentive (PLI) scheme, tax reform in the form of one nation, one tax, liberalization of the foreign direct investment policies, simplified bankruptcy law, etc., all indicate the government's approach towards developing a business conducive framework. The impact is visible as India has emerged as the fastest growing major economy, has recorded consistent growth in GST collections, exhibited steady growth in exports, and has emerged as an attractive destination for foreign investors. From its humble beginning as a partnership firm formed in 1867 to a Miniratna Type 1 public sector enterprise under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, Balmer Lawrie has left a mark of its own at every step of its remarkable corporate journey. This journey of 157 years has not been devoid of challenges, and we have been successfully responding to the demands of an ever changing environment, leveraging every change as an opportunity to innovate and emerge as a leader in the industry. Your company is well poised to take advantage of this economic upturn, and that is reflected in its financials. We have achieved our highest ever turnover, and all the key businesses have demonstrated robust performance with respect to physical and financial parameters. The company has 8 strategic business units: industrial packaging, greases and lubricants, logistics, infrastructure, logistics services and cold chain, travel and vacations, chemicals, and refinery and oil field services, with offices spread across the country and a vast global network of business associates. I would like to briefly discuss the significant developments each of the strategic business units of the company during the year under review. Industrial packaging (IP). SBU IP manufactures high-quality 210-liter MS drums catering to diverse industry segments and is the market leader in this packaging product category. Our drums are utilized for packaging lubricants, additives, chemicals, agrochemicals, transform oils, food and fruit pulp. Overall industrial growth, especially in the chemicals and lubricant segment, is the key driver for the drum industry in India. Balmer Lawrie's industrial packaging business is acclaimed for superior product quality, high reliability in supplies, modern manufacturing systems, and customer-centric experienced personnel. It has a large, diverse, and growing customer base in India as well as abroad and is very well respected in the market. The SBU has established a dominant market presence, and its competitive advantage is sustained through continuous improvement and innovation. Out of the 6 manufacturing plants of SBU IP Pan India, the plant at Navi Mumbai has a state-of-the-art facility, and the Chittoor plant is being modernized to add a new line for epoxy coating facility. The SBU recorded its highest ever drum sales this fiscal and expects to continue its growth trajectory during financial year 24-25, with the biggest drivers being the chemicals, food, transformer oils, and lube segments. The SBU will continuously work on enhancing its product portfolio and explore new export markets for its products. Greases and lubricants (GNL). The Indian lubricants market is the 3rd largest in the world, among the fastest growing markets worldwide, and it is expected to continue to grow over the next 5+ years. This augurs well for Balmer Lawrie, and the SBU has taken significant strides to strengthen its position in the market. SBU GNL has 3 manufacturing plants along with a state-of-the-art applications research laboratory, which has been working continuously to develop environment-friendly tribological solutions. The Balmer brand of greases is held in high esteem owing to its long-standing presence and a strong affiliation and industry recognition in core sectors like steel, railways, defense, automobiles, and mining. Along with retaining and expanding its traditional industrial base, The SBU intends to sharply enhance its presence in the automotive sector by expanding the product basket, increasing its distribution network, and judiciously enhancing its marketing and branding presence. It also intends to increase visibility by participating in events, seminars, exhibitions, and deepen its relationship with mechanics, who are key influencers and retailers through comprehensive engagement. The outlook of the business remains positive for the next few years. SBU GNL has taken a strategic initiative to sign memorandum of understandings with PSU oil marketing companies and is planning to aggressively expand its digital marketing activities for increasing the brand exposure of Balmer Oil. Logistics infrastructure, LI. The LI business of the company comprises two major segments, viz. Container freight stations, CFS, and warehousing and distribution. Presently, the company has three state-of-the-art CFSs located at Navasheva, Chennai, and Kolkata. The company's warehousing and distribution businesses are presently fully operational at Kolkata and Coimbatore locations. The company had undertaken initiatives for expansion of its warehousing facilities during the last financial year in CFS Kolkata and CFS Chennai, which are now being optimally utilized. In addition to this, SBULI is in the process of expanding its open yard area in the CFS Chennai to cater to the increasing demands on the export front. Balmer Lawrie has set up a multimodal logistics hub in association with Visakhapatnam Port Authority at Visakhapatnam, and the subsidiary is known as Visakhapatnam Port Logistics Park Limited, VPLPL. All the activities related to clearance of goods for domestic use, warehousing, temporary admissions, re-export, temporary storage for onward transit and outright export, transshipment, etc. are being carried out in a CFS at VPLPL. Backed by state-of-the-art logistics assets, SBULI continuously collaborates with SBU Logistics Services and SBU Cold Chain to offer comprehensive integrated logistics solutions to our customer base across India. The rail-linked facilities at Kolkata and Visakhapatnam provide cost-effective and environmentally friendly solutions to the EXIM trade, with options for multiple connectivity with various ports in the eastern and western regions. The outlook for SBULI is promising, driven by several positive trends and opportunities in the logistics and supply chain sectors. The expected growth in both imports and exports, improved connectivity through dedicated freight corridor, port connectivity, and improved hinterland infrastructure, along with adoption of technology in operations, will benefit the SBU in future. Logistics Services, LS. The logistics market segment in India has witnessed transformative growth, primarily owing to the focused approach of the Indian economy to make India a global manufacturing hub. Logistic providers are adopting green practices such as using eco-friendly packaging materials, optimizing routes to reduce fuel consumption, usage of railways and inland waterways as much as possible, and investing in electric or hybrid vehicles to attract environmentally conscious customers and reduce carbon footprint. With a strong network of partners and agents across the globe, Balmer Lawrie offers end-to-end logistics solutions, including air freight, sea freight, and road transportation for all types of cargo. The global freight market has seen unprecedented volatility owing to geopolitical events, starting with Russia's war with Ukraine, Israel-Palestine conflict, the Red Sea crisis, and all such events have had significant impact on the fortunes of the SBU. Despite these challenges, the SBU has not only been able to retain business from major Government of India and CPSU customers, but also has been successful in significantly increasing its business share in the private segment. The SBU now aspires to focus and increase its market share in private business by strengthening its sales and marketing capability through proactive brand positioning, event participation, and enhancement of its social media platforms to reach the next higher level. Volatile freight costs a highly competitive market, high sensitivity towards global and geopolitical scenario, supply and demand imbalance, and mergers and acquisitions of bigger players in the segment have been the challenges faced by the SBU. The business is taking adequate steps to mitigate the challenges through its established and growing global associate network, rich technology solutions, and offering the clients a single window logistics solution by collaborating with SBU LI. Cold chain services, CC. Balmer Lawrie is one of the leading cold chain logistics companies in India, offering one-stop shop solution under the brand Logicold to the temperature-controlled supply chain requirements of the nation. Logicold has the expertise in handling all products between the temperature range of -25 to +25 Celsius. There are four Logicold units operating out of Hyderabad, Rai at Haryana, Patalganga at Maharashtra, and Bhubaneswar, along with 24 reefer vehicles of various capacities on pan-India basis. There has been a rising demand for the organized cold chain industry to offer services through state-of-the-art temperature-controlled warehouses, TCWs, along with value-added services like pre-cooling, preconditioning, ripening, packaging, blast freezing, etc., and primary and secondary logistics through temperature-controlled vehicles, TCV. The market has benefited significantly from the stringent regulations governing the production and supply of temperature-sensitive products. The industry is poised for growth owing to the surge in demand of organized retail sectors, quick service restaurants, and e-commerce. The pharma segment in India has also witnessed rapid growth over the years. Food and pharma, both the industries are highly sensitive and demands state-of-the-art TCWs and TCVs to fulfill their storage and distribution needs, and the stringent standards offer a widening space for Logicold to grow in the industry. The SBU is well poised to take advantage of Balmer Lawrie's other logistics verticals and offer integrated and value-added solutions to its customers. Travel. The outlook of the Indian aviation industry is quite upbeat, and continued focus of the government to boost travel and tourism through investments in infrastructure, technology, connectivity, and policies shall propel the growth of this segment. Travel management companies, TMCs, like Balmer Lawrie shall have a huge opportunity complementing the growth of the aviation industry by offering a suite of services to the customer supported by robust technology platforms. Balmer Lawrie is one of the largest corporate travel management companies in India and provides end-to-end domestic and international travel, ticketing, and tourism services. Balmer Lawrie enjoys the privilege of being a Government of India authorized travel agent, and we have been catering to prestigious customers including the ministries and various government organizations and CPSCs. Our strength is based on a flexible and scalable digital architecture which perfectly complements service from a dedicated staff spanning 70 plus locations across the country. These attributes are further supported by deep relationships with airlines and innovative product offerings. Balmer Lawrie was the first to launch a dedicated self-booking portal for government employees, which has been a great success and has been able to achieve significant mind and market share amongst its target customer base. Our tailored product for defense personnel, Defense Travel System (DTS), has also seen a substantial growth in the number of tickets and users as new units and establishments from defense services are being brought under the ambit of this portal. As an initiative towards technology, the SBU was successful in onboarding various corporate clients on standard self-booking tool, SSBT, and is now poised to bring more services, hotels and cabs to drive non-ticketing revenue. As is well documented, the air travel segment has experienced a tremendous boom after the COVID-19 pandemic, despite significant increase of airfare. Leveraging this tailwind and supplementing that with superior customer service and an aggressive sales strategy, the travel business has clocked the highest turnover, profit, and highest number of tickets sold in financial year 23-24. Vacations. The government's focus to boost the travel and tourism segment in India through various initiatives has played a significant role in revamping the travel and tourism industry post COVID 19. The year 2023 was designated as the Visit India Year by Ministry of Tourism, inviting the world to experience the country's splendor. India has witnessed a huge inflow of international tourists by virtue of global events like G20, Cricket World Cup, IPL, etc. India's tourism and hospitality industry experienced significant recovery and growth in 2023, marked by increased domestic and international demand, major global events, spiritual and religious tourism, and expansions in hotel chains. The vacations vertical is a one stop shop for all travel and holiday needs, offering a wide range of services to various customer segments and has a strong presence in the market with a large network of branch locations. We are providing integrated travel and holiday solutions, including international group and customized tour packages, domestic leisure holidays, and the booking of standalone services such as air, hotel, rail, Europe travel, car, cruises, sightseeing, visa processing, travel insurance, etc. The vertical also serves corporates, MNCs, private and public limited companies, PSUs, and various other government departments for their end to end MICE movements. MICE standing for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. The vacations vertical has taken initiatives to strengthen the internal operations, enhance brand visibility through social media, and upgrade technology to offer better customer service. It launched a dedicated call center and introduced new products in GIT and domestic segments, which is expected to contribute to the overall growth of the vertical. The vertical is now focusing on domestic and international leisure travel, including inbound tourism as a new segment of business. Chemicals. Leveraging indigenous technology, Balmer Lawrie manufactures end-to-end leather chemicals under the brand Balmol, Balsin, Balchem, and Balfin at its modern manufacturing facility at Chennai. SBU Chemicals has received the Zero Discharge Hazardous Certification Level 3.1 and international certification for usage of chemicals. The SBU has been awarded gold level by International Research Institute for Manufacturing and has won silver award for India Green Manufacturing Challenge for Sustainability Initiatives. All products of SBU Chemicals meet REACH compliance, and it has developed an eco-friendly metal-free tanning process with glutaraldehyde, which has wide appeal in the market. We have a significant market share in wet end operations and have forayed into the finishing chemical segment by launching our own finishing chemicals. The SBU has well-equipped technical service centers in all the major leather manufacturing clusters in India and renders high-quality technical service to the tanneries. Increased usage of non-leather products and environmental norms, which may lead to closure of small tanneries due to increased operational costs, could be a concern for the leather chemicals business, and the SBU has been exploring other opportunities in the chemical space. We have entered the textile chemicals and agrochemicals market by launching products which have synergies like textile binder, wetting agent, etc. The SBU is well equipped to explore opportunities for growth and improve business in the coming years. Refinery and Oil Field Services, ROFS. SBU ROFS is engaged in niche service catering to the oil and gas industry that prevents pollution and helps in recycling oily wastes through recovery of hydrocarbons. The SBU intends to leverage its experience in project execution and wide base of satisfied clientele to foray into allied service areas through diversifying its service offerings. The demand for sludge processing services is expected to be stagnant in the near term, and diversification into other allied areas is being explored. Increased competition in the market can put downward pressure on market share as well as profit margins for SBU ROFS. Other risks include adoption of modern technologies in refineries, which would reduce generation of oil sludge in the storage tanks, thereby limiting the need for sludge processing in the long run. SBO ROFS is working towards mitigation of the risks through upgradation of technology as well as expansion and diversification of service offerings and client base. Overall financial performance. The company recorded a net turnover of rupees 240,416.53 lakhs during financial year 23-24 as against rupees 238,309.16 lakhs in financial year 22-23, which is an increase of 0.88% over last year. The company recorded a profit before tax of rupees 27,865.34 lakhs in financial year 23-24 as against rupees 21,130.23 lakhs in financial year 22-23, which is an increase of 31.87% over last year. The increase is attributable to the remarkable performance by all the manufacturing businesses as well as the travel vertical. The reserve and surplus of your company increased to rupees 125,621.43 lakhs as on 31st of March 2024 as compared to rupees 118,524.12 lakhs as on 31st of March 2023. Corporate governance. Corporate governance essentially involves balancing the interests of your company's various stakeholders, such as shareholders, management, customers, suppliers, financiers, the government, and the community. Your company's culture, policies, and relationship with stakeholders and loyalty to values are reflected in the corporate governance report. The Companies Act 2013 is being amended almost regularly. Similarly, listing regulations are also amended frequently. Your company is making its best efforts to adapt and comply with the changing statutes and continues to comply with the corporate governance guidelines / norms to the extent within its control. Corporate social responsibility (CSR). Balmer Lawrie as an organization is deeply committed to conducting its business in a socially responsible manner and being responsive to the needs of society as a whole. Over the past few decades, the company has consistently undertaken various CSR initiatives driving sustainable development and growth for its stakeholders. Balmer Lawrie has independently spearheaded numerous projects across its units and establishments throughout the country, in addition to supporting government-initiated programs such as the Clean India Mission and Skill Development Institutes. Balmer Lawrie's CSR initiatives are primarily driven by two flagship programs: Balmer Lawrie Initiative for Self-Sustenance, acronym BLISS, and Samaj Mein Balmer Lawrie, acronym SAMBAL. The company has successfully delivered on its CSR commitments and continues to make progress for the betterment of communities. Recognizing the importance of national flagship programs launched by the government, Balmer Lawrie seeks partnership with organizations that can identify community needs and effectively execute the company's CSR objectives. By engaging with impactful specialized organizations and adhering to guidelines such as the DPE guidelines, the Companies Act 2013 read with Schedule 7 thereto, Balmer Lawrie takes pride in advancing initiatives falling under the purview of CSR. During the financial year 2023-24, a total sum of rupees 441.64 lakhs was spent on various CSR initiatives by the company. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I would like to convey our sincere gratitude to all our shareholders. I acknowledge the continued support of our administrative ministry, the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, for the guidance and encouragement provided to your company. I also wish to thank other ministries of the Government of India and other governmental authorities for their cooperation. I would also like to thank our holding company, Balmer Lawrie Investments Limited, our valued shareholders, customers, vendors, business associates, bankers, financial institutions, and other stakeholders for their continued support and cooperation. Finally, I must convey my gratitude to my colleagues on the board for their wise counsel and valued involvement. We look forward counting on your continued support and cooperation. Now I take up the agenda items listed in the notice ad seriatim. Members may note that as per the statutory provisions, the remote e-voting has already been carried out with respect to the items of business from serial numbers 1 to 8 as stated in the notice. The members who have not cast their vote through remote e-voting and are present at the AGM through VC have also been provided with the facility of e-voting system. The members who have cast their vote by remote e-voting prior to the AGM are entitled to attend the AGM only but shall not be entitled to cast their vote again at the AGM. The Board of Directors had appointed Sri Naveen Kothari, proprietor of Messrs. NK and Associates, company secretaries, as scrutinizer to scrutinize the voting process for the AGM in a fair and transparent manner. Let us now move to the ordinary business as stated in the notice of the AGM. Item number 1, to consider and adopt the audited financial statement. To consider and adopt the audited financial statements of the company, both standalone and consolidated, for the financial year ended on 31st March 2024, together with the reports of the Board of Directors and auditors thereon and other statements attached thereto, along with the comments of Comptroller and Auditor General of India thereon. The proposed ordinary resolution is as follows. Resolved that the audited financial statements of the company, both standalone and consolidated, for the financial year ended on 31st of March 2024, together with the reports of the Board of Directors and auditors thereon, and other statements attached thereto, along with the comments of Comptroller and Auditor General of India thereon, be and are hereby considered and adopted. I now request the members who have registered themselves as speakers to raise any query or issue arising out of the board's report and the audited annual accounts. I request the members to be brief. I also request the members to kindly identify themselves. Members are requested to confine their queries to the annual accounts, board's report, and the agenda of the annual general meeting.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. May I call upon our first speaker, Mr. Amit Kumar Banerjee, to kindly unmute his microphone, switch on his webcam if he desires to do so, and put forth his perspective. Mr. Amit Kumar Banerjee from Calcutta.
Hello.
Mr. Amit, yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
Myself, Amit Kumar Banerjee from the city of Kolkata. Thank you for getting me connected and opportunity to speak such a wonderful meeting today organized by your company, Balmer Lawrie and Company Limited. It is our 107th annual meeting through video conferencing. As regards the performance is concerned, yes, overall, it is very nice. Good growth, strong financial presentation. Total revenue achieved about 2,404 crores of rupees. It is up by 0.88% from previous year. Profit after tax about 203 crores. Dividend is very good, 8.50. It is also found that the reserve and surpluses are also increased CSR activities is also there for the welfare measures. It is nice. Sir, about current liability, it appears that 685 crores of rupees is there. Finance cost 13 crores, increased from last year. Other expenses looks on higher sides. Miscellaneous up by 45 crores of rupees. It's too much. Written off 41 crores. Last year it was nil. Traveling 11 crores. Motor cars 2 crores. Investment written of 25 crores of rupees. Last year it was nil. To kindly keep attentions about the reduction of the matters. So what is the key challenges now at present for sustainable growth? What is the debt reduction and interest cost minimization program? Kindly share your views. Future plan for next 2 years, kindly provide us. Consider if it is possible, split of the shares as the market price is about 264 current quoting from rupees 10 to 5 or 2, whatever it may be. Consider planned visits, sir, so that we, being a shareholders, would happy to see the nice how the development of their particular infrastructures is there. I hope our company will definitely maintain necessary technology, infrastructure, and transparency at all levels. Maintain also, obviously, the prestigious brand Balmer Lawrie, and also value-added customers in need. I thank our company secretary, Madam Kavita Bhaskar, and her secretarial team for good investor services also. And also thank to all team members for such a wonderful video conferencing meeting today. Myself, Amit Kumar Banerjee, over to you for further proceedings. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee. What we will do is we will take other questions and then probably summarize, because many times questions may be repetitive also. So the next speaker, please.
May I call upon Mr. Santosh Kumar Saraf from Calcutta to unmute his microphone, switch on his webcam if you desire to do so. Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
उपस्थित नीति सदस्यगण अधिकारीगण कर्मचारीगण में संतोष कुमार सराफ करता साहब सभी को राम राम कहता हूँ। सर, मैंने भारती साहब के नाम से पहले प्रश्न भेज दिए, आपको मिल गए होंगे, इसलिए ज्यादा प्रश्न नहीं, सिर्फ ये है कि कैपेक्स प्लान बताइएगा और आपको आने वाले और अपने जो कार्बन इमिशन के लिए क्या कदम उठाइएगा सर, अपनी कंपनी की ESG रेटिंग क्या बताइएगा सर, और फायर एंड सेफ्टी के लिए क्या कदम उठाएं ये बताने का कष्ट करिएगा सर। और मैंने प्रश्न भेज दिए तो आप उनको देख लीजिए। धन्यवाद सर।
Thank you, Mr. Santosh Kumar Saraf. We'll move on to our next speaker, Mr. Asit Kumar Pathak from Calcutta. Mr. Asit Kumar, you are requested to kindly unmute yourself, switch on your webcam if you desire to do so.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Good afternoon, respected Chairman, Board of Directors, Company Secretary, fellow members, 107th AGM of Balmer Lawrie and Company Limited. My esteemed gratitude to our Company Secretary, Mrs. Kavita Bhaskar, and inter-secretarial team for sending me the notice of the AGM very well in advance and allow me to speak. Sir, your opening remarks, you have covered all the valid points from our sides. Also, thanks for my company's management team, nicely achieved revenue near about 2,404 crores and PBT also 279 crores, near about 31.87% increase. Sir, I have some CSR activities nicely achieved, near about 441.64 lakhs, and dividend payout 8.50 per share. So excellent, sir. All the parameters are excellent. Also, our joint ventures also nicely dividend payout policy. Sir, in respect of VPLPL subsidiary JVC, where we have 60s to 40 equity contribution, Balmer Lawrie Company Limited at Vizag Port Authority. So what we have taking step for positive, because last year revenue nicely achieved near about 2,191 lakhs, but net loss 1,038.55 lakhs. Share your thoughts, because where we have taken various initiatives, you mentioned in your opening speech, CFS operation and also operate MMLH. Share your thoughts. Sir, in respect to, if you mention segmented revenue and EBIT in respect to logistic, refinery and oil field, industrial packaging, that is the better we understand that what in one segment we have going in prospective operations. Sir, volatility of price of crude and raw materials, any impact in our oil field and refinery operation? And also geopolitical turbulence, any impact here, travels and vacation? Also, steel prices, volatility, any impact in our industrial packaging? Share your thoughts. And expected our revenue in chemicals business and present capacity of utilization of our all units. Share your thoughts. This is I am conclude, sir. Thanking you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Ashit Kumar Patil. We will move on to our next speaker, Mr. Sujan Modak from Kolkata. Mr. Sujan Modak, you are requested to kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Respected Chairman, other Board of Directors, I am Sujan Modak. I am attending this meeting from a residence in Kolkata, sir. Namaskar, sir. How are you, sir?
We're doing very fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Namaskar, sir. Sir, in your opening speech, you have already covered a lot, sir. So many questions got already been answered, and my previous speakers have also asked, so I don't want to repeat, sir. Sir, for FY25, sir, this our revenue growth, how much we can expect, sir? If you can give some approximate idea, and sir, net profit margin for FY25, what you can say, if you can have some sort of ideas, so it will really help this investors community, sir. And sir, this renewable energy front and digitization, what is the thought process of our company and how far we have gone through, if you can please tell us. These are the things I have got, sir. And सर एक छोटी सी सर रिक्वेस्ट थी सर, पहले फिजिकल मीटिंग होते थे सर, आप लोग बहुत कुछ सेलिब्रेट करते थे सर. एक्चुअली एजीएम इज वंस इन अ ईयर एंड इट्स समथिंग लाइक a celebration, sir, and we are doing it as VC. So sir, दीपावली और पूजा टाइम, if you can remember us, please कविता मैम को थोड़ा बोलिए, थोड़ा हम लोगों को थोड़ा बुलाएंगे, थोड़ा सेलिब्रेट करेंगे तो बहुत अच्छी बात है सर. Nothing to add more. Over to you for further proceedings. Thank you.
We will move on to our next speaker, Mr. Bimal Krishna Sarkar. Mr. Bimal Krishna Sarkar, you are requested to kindly unmute yourself, switch on your webcam if you desire to do so, and put forth your perspective, sir.
Hello, audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
सुनते बच्चे? हाँ, very good afternoon, sir. मैं बिमल कृष्ण सरकार, मेरा रेसिडेंस कलकत्ता से बोल रहा हूँ. सर, आपने जो चेयरमैन साहब, आपने जो वैल्यूएबल और एक्सीलेंट प्रेजेंटेशन दिया है, उसमें हमारा कंपनी का परफॉर्मेंस के बारे में एक क्लियर पिक्चर हम लोगों को सामने रखा है. सर, अच्छी बात है सर, रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम ऑपरेशन इंक्रीज हुई है सर, प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स सिग्निफिकेंट इंक्रीज हुई है सर, बहुत अच्छी बात है सर. सर, CSR ऑब्लिगेशन 141.42 सर हमारा कंपनी ने स्पेंड किया है 141.64 लाख, बहुत अच्छी बात है सर. मेरा कोई डिटेल्स इसमें नहीं है, तो मैं जानना चाहता हूँ हमारा CSR कमेटी को क्या आउटलुक है. नंबर 1 सर, वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट और कम्युनिटी प्रोजेक्ट फॉर बूस्टिंग अप एंड थर्ड नंबर ये है सर, ब्लाइंड और स्पेशल यानी एबल्ड पर्सन के लिए आप लोग क्या सोच रहे हैं, इसके बारे में मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा जब संभव इसी पॉसिबल तो नेक्स्ट ईयर से सर इन लोगों के लिए कुछ करें। सर सर मैं कैपेक्स प्लान क्या है अगला 2-3 साल के लिए, इसके बारे में थोड़ा हाईलाइट करें। और सर आप चेयरमैन साहब, मैं एक रिक्वेस्ट आपको करता हूँ सर। अब देखिए जब फिजिकल मीटिंग होते थे तो हम लोगों को थोड़ा वो कोई स्नैक्स वगैरह और मिठाई का पैकेट वगैरह कोई अप्रिसिएशन दिया जाता था। तो हम लोग सर देखिए 45 से कुछ कोई किसी को 1 घंटा भी रहना पड़ता है मीटिंग में। ये एजीएम है, साल में एक बार होता है, सेलिब्रेट होता है, हर जगह ऐसा ही होता है। सर मेरा एक रिक्वेस्ट है सर, हम लोग को दिवाली का टाइम कम से कम जो लोग आज स्पीकर है इन लोगों को ड्राई फ्रूट का पैकेट दिया जाए, चाहे वो भेज दें, नहीं तो हम लोग को वो ऐसे कलेक्ट करेंगे। मैडम सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट को मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ, उन्होंने एक्सीलेंट इन्वेस्टर सर्विस देते हैं। चेयरमैन साहब, आप और आपका पूरा टीम एंटायर एम्प्लॉय सुस्त रहे, मैं ईश्वर से ये प्रार्थना करता हूँ और इस तरीके से आप हमारा कंपनी को आगे लेके चले। सर मेरे को बोलने का मौका दिया है, इसलिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
Thank you, Mr. Bimal Krishna Sarkar. We will move on to our next speaker, Mr. Kaushik Narendra Sahukar from Mumbai. Mr. Kaushik Narendra Sahukar, you are requested to kindly unmute yourself, switch on your webcam if you desire to do so, and put forth your perspective, sir.
Hello.
Sir, you are audible, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon to all. Respected sir and distinguished guests. It is truly an honor to stand before this gathering today. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the board for granting the opportunity to be part of a significant event. First and foremost, I would like to commend our chairman for his comprehensive presentation on the state of our company. Your insights were so thorough that I find myself no question to ask. Though as a speaker, it's my duty to inquire. Therefore, I have only one concern out of curiosity. Could you please let us know the capital investment plan for the current fiscal year and the expected revenue out of it? How much employment will be generated from our current capex? Finally, contingent liability as a percentage of reserves. Before I conclude, I want to express my sincere gratitude to the entire secretarial team uh, uh, for their efforts in connecting with me for this memorable event. Furthermore, sir, we are co-owner of the company. So don't you feel we have right to visit our factory and see how our company functions? Sir, urge the management to consider arranging a site visit if possible. Additionally, I believe a separate fund should be created for shareholder expenses as money belongs to the shareholder and should be used for their benefit. The company should also consider distributing a memento to shareholders during festival out of the corpus created. And on a lighter note, given a shift to virtual meeting, perhaps next time we should consider a virtual hi-fi competition to keep things lively. Before I end my speech, I would like to say a quote. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, वो कहते हैं कि जिंदगी को जीना आसान नहीं होता। वो कहते हैं कि जिंदगी को जीना आसान नहीं होता, जिंदगी को जीना आसान बनाना पड़ता है। कैसे? कुछ सब्र करके, कुछ बर्दाश्त करके एंड बहुत कुछ नजरअंदाज करके। अंडरस्टैंड दिस, सो डोंट एवर थिंक माय वे इज हाईवे, बी हम्बल। In my view, humility is the strongest character in the human being. Thank you all for attention.
Thank you, Mr. Kaushik. We will move on to our next speaker, Ms. Lily Pradhan from Calcutta. Ms. Lily Pradhan, you are requested to unmute yourself, ma'am.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Very good afternoon, all chairpersons and all viewers. Myself, Lily Pradhan from Kolkata, attending the meeting through video conferencing. I am obliged that the management has given me the chance to speak at AGM. First of all, I would like to thank the board of directors, respected chairman, respected MD, respected CFO, respected secretary with secretarial team for the wonderful arrangement and giving us in advance for attending the AGM through video conference. As a secretary, very good appreciative personalized human beings, always coordinate with me, giving all shareholders. Overall, very good investor services. Chairman sir, I am really proud to you for being polite, decent, hardworking, and patientful behavioral manners. Go ahead, good wishes, always with you. Sir, I am very happy to your performance. Sir, what is the CapEx plan for future development? What is the credit rating of the company? What is the aim and object of future development in all over country by AI technology? Have you any status of AI technology? What is CSR activities on challenging persons? Have you any activities of challenging persons? This must be bifurcated analysis top line and bottom line. This must be submitted audit of cash flow management. Must be VC, continuous VC in future because any part of the world, every person can participate and express their views. Chairman sir, please consider the fact the planned visit for encouragement. Please consider the planned visit and also rewarding policy. Consider the rewarding policy. As a woman speaker, request always support women empowerment. Nothing more. Thank you. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you, Ms. Lily. We will move on to our next speaker, Ms. P. Shyama Sundari from Chennai. Mr. P. Shyama Sundari from Chennai. You are requested to kindly unmute yourself, switch on your webcam if you desire to do so, and put forth your perspective, please. P. Shyama Sundari from Chennai. Well, we have not received any inputs from P. Shyama Sundari, so we'll move on to our next speaker, Mr. Satish Chandra Shantilal Doshi from Mumbai. Mr. Satish Chandra Shantilal Doshi from Mumbai. You are requested to kindly unmute yourself, switch on your webcam if you desire to do so, and put forth your perspective, please. We have not received any input from Mr. Satish Chandra, so we'll move on to our last speaker, Mr. Vishwendra Narayan Kundu. Mr. Vishwendra Narayan Kundu, you are requested to kindly unmute yourself, switch on your webcam if you desire to do so, and put forth your perspective, please.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me, sir? Okay. Respected Chairman, members of the board, fellow shareholder and friend, I am BN Kundu. At the outset, I must congratulate our new CMD, Mr. Adhip Pal Chaudhuri, who will now lead the Balmer Lawrie from the front. We are sure that under his leadership, Balmer Lawrie will continue to flourish in future years in all its activities. It is a pleasure to see our previous CMD, respected Mr. Adhika Ratnasekar, perform was instrumental in the growth and prosperity of the Balmer Lawrie as we see it today. As for the report and accounts, the company has shown excellent performance and result during the year under review with record increase in revenue and profit. The company has also maintained human face to the shareholder by paying 85% dividend, that is 8 rupees 50 paise per share or rupees 10 each fully paid up, a dividend yield of 3.04%. According to balance sheet, the report presented to us has been very nicely prepared with exhaustive details, and I have nothing further to say on it. I congratulate the management and sincerely hope that the growth and prosperity of the company will be maintained. Mr. Chairman, the FY 23-24 marked one of the best results in the history of the company. The company total income from revenue rupees 2404 crores as against 2383 crores FY 22-23, which is an increase 0.88% on standalone basis. Your net profit rupees 279 crores FY 23-24. Last year it was 211 crores on standalone basis. Congratulations, entire management team. Of course, it's a total teamwork. Sir, our company EPS and net worth per share also increased. Chairman, sir, what's your roadmap next 5 years and any further capex plan? capex plan program or any greenfield project. Before I close, I convey my sincere thanks to Mr. Saurabh Dotto and his team of management for their cordiality and hospitality when I meet anytime. With this observation, I am closing here with thanks to all. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Chairman, sir, we have Mr. Satish Chandra back online. With your permission, I'm giving him the opportunity once again to unmute and speak. Mr. Satish Chandra Shantilal Doshi ji, you are requested to kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Hi, thank you for the second opportunity. I had some connection issue. So my first question is with regards to any acquisition of any plans to acquire a third-party logistics service provider. Second, I would like to know if we have set a target to increase the number of cold chain vehicles to 80. Can you share any specific timeline for achieving this goal and any future sort of opportunity size that we have in our in the cold chain domain? Moreover, I noticed a write-off of investments of 24 crores and a provision for reduction in value of 40 crores, 40 odd crores. Can you please share the details regarding the same and what led to these actions and how are we managing these risks? Next, I noticed there is a disputed demand with regards to various taxes totaling almost 100 crores. Can you provide an update on this matter and any potential impact this might have on our company's financials going forth? Next up is with regards to the CFS segment. There is a growth in direct port delivery volumes and has led to highly competitive environment in the CFS business. Any strategies that we are planning on implementing to address the margin pressure and price sensitivity, if there is any that we are facing? Next up, I'd like to know what our expansion plans are into exploring new businesses. So I saw news regarding our company expanding into free trade warehousing zones, plug and play temperature controlled warehouses, third party logistics, like I mentioned before, ethanol production. So some of these new avenues I saw in the news. So if you could give an update on those as well. Another news I saw, which was very compelling, was the target to achieve 6,000 crore revenue within the next 3 years or so. So how confident is the management in reaching this goal, and what steps are we taking to ensure this success? Because it is a very nice target we have set for ourselves. Um, Finally, last few questions. I want to know what our plans for asset monetizations are as well of the non-core assets. And if you could please tell me the fair market value of our land and how we plan on monetizing it. Uh, Finally, are we hiring any global business consultant to help us not only improve operational efficiencies but also optimize our standard operating procedures that we might have? And last, very quick, small request to the management. If we could please host regular con calls, it would really help the investors and also boost investor confidence and help us know our company's ins and outs well. But that's all for me. Thank you so much. Thank you for the second opportunity. That's all from me.
Thank you, Mr. Satish. Chairman, sir, with that, we conclude the question session. I hand it back to the board to continue with the rest of the session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So thanks for the questions which have come in. There were, as I mentioned, overlaps. So I'll take a few of these, and in case some of those things are not covered right now, we will definitely try and respond it via email or other communication methods. So quite a few of the questions were around companies' plans, capex, etc., etc. So just to kind of set context, we have already approved, the board has already approved capex worth, I would say, over almost 700 crores. Large investments would be in the ethanol facility that we are hoping to come up with in Andhra Pradesh. Yes, the investment that we are looking at FTWZ at in the JNPA area, we have already commenced work on the 3PL facility outside the Kolkata. I mean, in that sense, outskirts of Kolkata, I should say, a place called Dankuni. So quite a few of the questions that are being asked around capex has the answer out there. Plus, of course, in due course of time, we are obviously making investments in terms of upgrading our facilities, bringing in order to bring in modernization, in order to becoming more efficient and also enhancing capacities. So that kind of sets the context of what we are doing as far as capex is concerned. In terms of broad growth plans, yes, we are looking at growing to roughly around 6,000 crores, but that is not going to happen in the next 3 years. We are hoping that we will be able to do that by 2030. So that is another 5 to 6 years down the line, which would mean that we have to grow at a slightly higher and faster rate compared to what we are doing right now. And the reason for our belief that we can do it is because the presence of either dominant presence in certain segments or significant market headroom. So if you look at industrial packaging, we have a very dominant presence, and hence we can extract growth out of that particular business. If you look at travel or logistics or GNL, each of those we are already present for quite a number of years, have got a good presence, but the headroom that is available in each of these segments is phenomenal, and hence it is amply possible for us to take the turnover up. In order to put all of these in place, we will have to work possibly with the guidance or at least direction set by some consultants. So yes, we are in the process of doing that as well. So on a holistic basis, if we look at our organization, we do definitely want to grow and want to grow substantially. Growth areas would be the ones that we have already enumerated, and there would be some amount of, I think, effort and immediate attention given is to figuring out the direction of the growth. So that kind of addresses the growth space. Few challenges that have been talked about. There are challenges with VPLPL, and that is the write-off that has also been spoken about, the provisioning. So investment that was made, so we provisioned a part of that equity investment. Now we are faced with some challenges in VPLPL. The CFS license had taken a lot of time to come through, which now is with us. And the last year, I think it is also important to note, we've had a tremendous growth from around 12 crores to 21 crores of revenue, which is almost a 74% growth in VPLPL. So we are working very hard in order to make sure that we are able to support that business with the rest of Balmer Lawrie's logistics arms to make sure that it is a big success. So we believe over the next few years, VPLPL will not only turn around, but will become a prized asset for the company. Then there were quite a few questions about CSR and the nature of CSRs. Now, of course, broadly, we are working under the guideline and ambit of the government. So reservation of post as far as handicapped persons, etc., physically challenged persons are concerned, we are following the government guidelines and directives. We are definitely keeping most of our facilities we are altering or making amendments to our facilities to make sure that it is easy for physically challenged people to get in and out of our buildings and floors with much ease. We are organizing health camps and various other kind of facilities to make sure that our CSR activities are widely extended beyond our immediate offices to the communities that we touch. There were questions about women employee. So we, as of now, we have got a percentage, the total workforce, 11% of that are women. We are looking at initiatives, CSR initiatives like tailoring, bakery, etc., which can also, to address a question, see as to how we can contribute towards women empowerment. Uh, we are investing significantly in terms of making sure that women are able to take up more leadership positions, and that is the kind of things that we are doing in the CSR space. Other questions were regarding environment and green efforts. So we are doing significant activities in order to manage the carbon emission. So we've been planting. So there is a particular initiative right now which is going on as part of government directive of Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam. So we are having a mandate of doing plantation of trees. We are moving from we are converting from furnace oil to LPG wherever possible. We are doing a lot of investments and putting a lot of solar power. Right now, I think 700 kilowatts plus solar. CNG used, CNG as the truck fuel. So the kind of steel that we are using, that is having very thin oil, and hence the liquid discharge is minimized. So various kind of products that we are developing in the grease and lubricant space is more towards making sure that the vehicles are running for 1 lakh kilometers and so on and so forth. So which is not only about our cutting down of emissions, it's actually contributing to the emission cutting down of the vehicles that are getting used. So I think those are the kind of CSR activities which are going on in a holistic manner. There were questions regarding capex capacity utilization. So by and large, our facilities are hovering at around 50 to 60% of capacity utilization across plants. The industrial packaging plants are more loaded, and I think those are most of the questions. And coming to 80, so there were a few questions regarding once again growth in the future. So yes, growth will come from, as I've already mentioned, logistics, packaging, grease and lubricants, and travel and vacations. So as of now, there is no concrete proposal of acquiring any organization. But having said that, growth, if that requires inorganic, we will have to explore. But that is not something which is specifically on the table as of now. Questions regarding TCV. Yes, it will be a mix of, I think, bought vehicles as well as leased vehicles. I think that is something that we'll be looking also at our assets. So some of them would be owned. That means we build it up, and also leased facilities. If you look at the new business verticals, so our core business verticals will remain this. I don't think we will be drastically changing our vehicles of business verticals. Of course, ethanol is something that is definitely coming up, and per se we are not really having any I would say idle assets which are being looked at for monetization purpose. Wherever we are having any assets, those are being operated, and we will try and see as to how we can increase the efficiency and assets utilization. And there was this question about turnaround strategy for chemicals. Chemicals has already started doing quite well compared to the last few years. So yes, there are challenges which I read out regarding environment, restrictions, etc. And for that reason, we are looking at the possibility of diversifying into other kind of chemicals which are having some synergy. It could be textile or agro. And then there was this question, not question, really comment regarding having quarterly calls to brief the investors. So as of now, we've not thought about it, but we can definitely explore. There were also questions about, once again, comments, not really questions, about shareholders coming into for a physical AGM, which, if that is permitted, we'll definitely look at it for the coming year, 2025. And I think those are primarily most of the questions which, or at least broad coverage. And if there are any pending questions which are still left out, we will definitely respond to the investor by email or by any other communication. So thank you very much for the questions, and I hope the responses, as well as in the whatever we've read out and the AGM kind of addresses most of the concerns and queries. So I'm going to move on to the next item. The next item in the notice is declaration of dividend. A dividend of rupees 8.5 rupees per equity share on the paid up share capital for the financial year ended on 31st of March 2024 has been recommended by the board of your company for declaration at this meeting. The proposed ordinary resolution is as follows. Resolved that in accordance with the recommendation of the board of directors, dividend at the rate of rupees 8.50 only per equity share for the financial year ended 31st of March 2024 be and is hereby declared on 17 crores 10 lakh 3,846 equity shares of the company, each of the paid up value of rupees 10 only, and the same be paid out of the profits of the company for the financial year ended 31st of March 2024. Item number 3, the next item of the agenda pertains to reappointment of Sri Rajamani Uthayaraja DIN 096788056, a director who retires by rotation and being eligible offers himself for reappointment. The proposed ordinary resolution is as follows. Resolved that Sri Rajamani Uthayaraja DIN 096788056, a director retiring by rotation at this annual general meeting of the company and being eligible, seeks reappointment be and is hereby reappointed as a director of the company, whose period of office shall be subject to retirement by rotation. Item number 4. The next item in the agenda is to fix a remuneration of the statutory auditors of the company, including branch auditors for the financial year 24-25. The proposed ordinary resolution is as follows. Resolved that pursuant to Section 142 and other applicable provisions of the Companies Act 2013, the Board of Directors of the company be and are hereby authorized to determine the amount of remuneration payable to the statutory auditors of the company, including branch auditors, as and when appointed by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India under Section 139, subsection 5, and other applicable provisions of the Companies Act 2013, including reimbursement of out-of-pocket expenses, if any, incurred by the said auditors in connection with the audit of annual accounts of the company for the financial year 24-25. Item number 5. We now take up the special businesses for the meeting. The next item on the agenda is entrustment of additional charge of the post of Chairman and Managing Director of the company upon me. The proposed ordinary resolution is as follows. Resolved that pursuant to the applicable provisions of the Companies Act 2013, read with allied rules, applicable provisions of Securities and Exchange Board of India, listing obligations and disclosure requirements LODR, regulations 2015, in line with the recommendations of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee, and the letter bearing reference number CA-31014/2/2024 PNG within brackets 49337 dated 28th June 2024 received from the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, Administrative Ministry, and the company having received a notice in writing from a member proposing his candidature for the entrustment of additional charge, approval B, and is hereby accorded for entrustment of the additional charge of Chairman and Managing Director of the company upon Sri Adipnath Pal Chaudhary DIN 08695322, who was holding functional designation of Director Service Businesses from 1st of July 2024 till 19th of July 2024. Item number 6. The next item on the agenda pertains to my appointment as the Chairman and Managing Director of the company and fixation of my terms of appointment. The proposed ordinary resolution is as follows. Resolved that, pursuant to the applicable provisions of the Companies Act 2013, read with allied rules, applicable provisions of Securities and Exchange Board of India, LODR Regulations 2015, in line with the recommendation of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee and the letter bearing reference number CA-31024/1/2022-PNG 45384 dated 19th July 2024 received from the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India within brackets Administrative Ministry, and the company having received a notice in writing from a member proposing his candidature for the office of director, approval B, and is hereby accorded for appointment of Sri Adipnath Pal Chaudhary DIN 08695322 as a Chairman and Managing Director of the company in the scale of pay rupees 1,80,000 to rupees 3,20,000 within brackets IDA with effect from date of his assumption of charge, i.e. 20th of July 2024 till the date of his superannuation, i.e. 31st of March 2029 or until further orders from the Administrative Ministry, whichever is earlier and whose period of office shall be subject to retirement of directors by rotation and on such terms and conditions as stated in letter bearing reference number CA-31024/1/2022-PNG within brackets 43584 dated 19th July 2024 received from the Administrative Ministry. The next item on the agenda pertains to appointment of Sri Mrityunjay Jha DIN 08483795 as Government Nominee Director of the company and fixation of terms of his appointment. The proposed ordinary resolution is as follows. Resolved that pursuant to the applicable provisions of the Companies Act 2013, read with allied rules, applicable provisions of SEBI LODR Regulations 2015, in line with the recommendation of the Nomination Remuneration Committee and the letter bearing reference number CA-31032/1/2021-PNG-37493 dated 18th of October 2023 received from the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India within brackets Administrative Ministry, and the company having received a notice in writing from a member proposing his candidature for the office of director, approval B, and is hereby accorded for appointment of Sri Mrityunjay Jha DIN 08483795 as a government nominee director of the company with effect from 18th of October 2023 for a period of 3 years on coterminous basis or until orders from the Administrative Ministry, whichever is earlier and whose period of office shall be subject to retirement of directors by rotation and on such other terms and conditions as contained in letter bearing reference number CA-31032/1/2021-PNG-37493 dated 18th October 2023, received from the Administrative Ministry, and any further instructions from the Administrative Ministry. Now, the last item of the agenda is ratification of remuneration of cost auditor for the financial year 24-25. The proposed ordinary resolution is as follows. Resolved that, pursuant to the provisions of Section 148, subsection 3, and other applicable provisions of the Companies Act 2013, read with Rule 14A, subsection 2 of the Companies within brackets Audit and Auditors Rules 2014, including any statutory modifications or reenactments thereof for the time being in force, the remuneration of Messrs. S. Dhal and Company, Cost Accountants in Practice, firm registration number 000197, whose appointment and remuneration was recommended by the Audit Committee and approved by the Board of Directors as the cost auditor to conduct the audit of the cost records maintained by the company for the financial year ending on 31st of March 2025 at a fee of rupees 1,20,000 only, inclusive of all fees, be and is hereby ratified. Resolved further that the Board of Directors of the company, including Audit Committee, be and are hereby authorized to do all acts and take all such steps as may be necessary, proper, or expedient to give effect to this resolution. Now that we've discussed all the items, may I now declare the meeting as concluded. I would now request the members who have not cast their vote through remote e-voting to carry out the voting on the resolutions 1 through 8. Please note that the results of the e-voting declared along with the scrutinizer's report shall be placed on the website of the company and also on the website of KFin immediately after its declaration. Simultaneously, the same would also be forwarded to BSE Limited and National Stock Exchange of India Limited, where the equity shares of the company are listed. Any one of the distinguished members may now propose a vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sujay Ghosh, authorized representative of Balmer Lawrie Investments Limited, the holding company of Balmer Lawrie and Company Limited. I would like to express a hearty thanks to the Chairman and Managing Director for conducting the 107th Annual General Meeting in a very smooth and orderly way. Thank you.
Thank you very much.